guys, what's up and welcome back to another video. For the scent of the day, I'm 3/4 of the way through this candle and I am using it every day to try to get through it. And I also do have some plans to go to Walmart sometime in January and to pick up some more of those mainstay $3 candles because those are definitely my favorite. If you're new around here, then welcome. I would love it if you would consider subscribing and hitting the notification bell so you will never miss anything interesting. And I also do upload every single day on Instagram and on Reddit, so if you like content that's updated daily, be sure to go follow me over on there. I'm being a tad bit naughty and having my favorite kind of soda today, and I am enjoying every second of it. So for the palette of the week, this week we have the ABH and Norvina Pro Pigment Palette Volume 2. And here's a quick peek at that color story that we're going to be working with today. And if you look close enough, you can see that my shade D1 is pretty smashed. But it just arrived that way, so when I did notice it, I just kind of pressed it back into place, and it's been fine ever since. So like every Sunday, what we're going to do is just a short tutorial. And then after that, we're going to do a complete review on this palette. And the look that we're going to be creating in the tutorial today is called an intense inner corner. So we're going to be really focusing in on this part of the eye right here. And we're going to use some of these beautiful pigments in this palette to create a really nice blend and some intensity on the eye. So if you're excited to get into this stuff, then let's get started. I just wanted to point out to you guys that today I have my step-by-step notebook here so I don't miss a step like I notoriously do. And we're actually going to get this done right today. So before we get started on the actual eye look, I do want to say that I have already done the prep work. And for my eye primer today, I use the Revlon Candid concealer. And then for my tight lining, I use this Kaolin pencil and it's just called the double eyeliner. And I did just apply a thin coat of mascara onto my eyelashes just so they don't look so plain. So here's a first look at the first brush we're going in with today, and it's just a long flimsy brush, and if you look closely, all the edges are at different lengths. And we're gonna dip into the shade C1, and with this shade, we're just gonna take it directly underneath the entirety of the eyebrow. The next brush we're gonna dig into is this really tiny pinpointed eyeliner brush, and we're gonna go into shade B4. And with this shade, we're gonna draw a triangle on our inner corner. So I just like to start kind of in the middle. Make my way down into the inner corner. And when you're doing this, you don't have to draw it on heavily. In case you make a mistake, you could easily just wipe it right off. We're going to extend this line further down onto the nose area. And then we're gonna bring it right back up to the lash line. Now, once you have your initial shape on there, then you can go ahead and kind of fill out the edges and round it off or deepen it up, whatever you need to do to kind of make it look just a little bit better. Now, when you're done with that, just take a flat detail brush, and I'm using my favorite one from Black Opal, and go back into the shade B4, the one we were just using. And you're gonna wanna fill the shape in completely. Now the next brush I'm going into is a very stiff domed brush, and it's kind of like a pencil brush, but not really. And the bristles on this thing are very dense. And I'm going into the shade C2. And what I'm gonna do with this shade is go halfway on my skin and halfway on the shadow that we already placed down. And just kind of stamp this shade onto the border of the triangle shape. Now grab a very giant fluffy brush and just run it along the edges. You don't want this to be extremely blown out or blended. You just want the two shades to kind of blend together. Now we're taking that really teeny eyeliner brush and going into the shade B3, which is one of the matte greens. And now we're gonna start pretty much a sideways gradient. So you're gonna start at the top edge of this blue, and we're just gonna put this green in the middle. So just form a little line until right about here. And then you can go in and deepen that line up a little bit with some more shadow. And then with that same flat detail brush from before, go in with that same shade, and then just fill in this section of the eye with that same B3 shade. Now to blend this together, I take some shadow on the very tip of my brush and then just drag it slightly into the blue. And I'm just using lifting and dragging motions. Now with that same little liner brush, we're gonna go into the shade E3 and we're gonna start building an outer corner with that. So go to where the edge of this green stopped. And I like to put a line to maybe the edge where it's equidistant to my outer corner. And then we're gonna put a horizontal line straight to the lash line. Now the same detail brush from earlier, go back into the shade E3, and then go ahead and fill this one in. And then using that same method by putting the shadow on the tip of your brush, go ahead and start dragging some shadow into that light green. Now take a very flat concealer-like brush and then go into the shade A4. And then we're just gonna put this shade on the entire lid area. Now the next thing we're gonna do is put our waterline color on, and for this I'm just using the same one that I did for the tight line. Now with that same little eyeliner brush, we're going into shade E5, and we're starting from the very inner corner and connecting it to the very outer corner. Now of course we have to clean this up, so I'm just going in with a Q-tip and some micellar water, and I'm just going to clean up all these edges around the inner corner. Now I'm gonna put on some additional mascara and I shall be right back. Okay guys, so here's the finished look. And like I always say, if you do want to see it with some bold lashes, be sure to check out my Saturday tutorial. And I will have that link below for you so you can click on it and see what that's all about. But if you do want to spend some more time with me and see what this palette's all about, then stick around and we'll get right into the review. Guys, welcome to part 2, which is the review of this palette. And like I said before, this is from ABH and Norvina Cosmetics, and this is called the Pro Pigment Palette Volume 2. And if you look at the outside casing of this, it is a hard protective plastic casing. And I really like packaging like this because it does protect the shadows if you drop them or anything like that. And when you open it up, there's a very large mirror inside. And looking at this color story, there are 25 shades in here, and they each weigh 1.8 grams. Now digging a little bit deeper into the formulas, there are 3 different formulas in here according to my observation. There are 15 mattes, 3 sequins, and 7 metallics. As far as the mattes go, it is definitely one of my favorite matte formulas ever. It blends like a dream. It's super easy to use. It layers well. You can create so many different kinds of gradients with it. And even the lightest shades show up very well and don't blend away. As far as the sequin shadows go, they're more like satins. They have a different type of texture to them than most sequins that I've noticed. There are only 3 of them in here, and if you do build them up enough, you can actually see the pinpoint glitter specks in them. And the last formula, which is the metallics, they're really nice, but they're not anything spectacular. What I do like are the metallics that are in here are actually pretty rare colors. Some of them in here do have a base pigment and some of them do not, so it just depends what color that you select. And they all do pick up well on a brush. Alright guys, now I'm going to quickly show you some swatches I took from this palette so you can see how every shade looks swatched out. Alright, now we're going to get into a little information about this palette. So when this was created, the company created it to be a professional grade artistry palette. And their theming for this was to create an aqua theme palette, and I think they did a great job doing that. This palette is cruelty free and it is vegan. And now we're going to get into my favorite part, which is the cost. So if you went out today and bought this palette as it stands today, it is on sale and it only costs $36. So breaking that down a little bit, you're going to be paying $1.44 per shade. And breaking that down even further, you're going to be paying 80 cents per gram. So comparing that to other similar formulas on the market, this is very inexpensive. And now we're going to get into my recommendation. So upon using this, I did get a lot of kick up in the pan. I did get a significant amount of fallout on my face. I did not get any patching at all or any creasing with this formula, and I definitely 100% recommend this palette. And there are 3 reasons why I recommend it. The first reason is that it is incredibly easy to blend. You are not going to have a problem working with this formula in the slightest. The second reason is that it's a very inspiring color story. You can do so many different looks with this, and even though it does have a kind of a blue-green base, it's still rainbow-esque in the fact that there are a few different other odd colors thrown in, so you can really take your looks there. And the third reason is the inclusion of rare shades. So even some of the shades we use today are pretty rare, and the metallics are definitely some of the most interesting in my entire collection. So yeah guys, that's today's video, and I hope you found it enjoyable and helpful. And if you liked it, please give me a giant thumbs up, and if you didn't like it, hit that thumbs down button. And until next time,